Good afternoon, guys. My name is Alina Shaltsova. I'm an immigration attorney from New York. Today, we're going to have our weekly live session. I will share with you the most recent immigration news. And of course, in the end of the session, I will answer some of you guys' questions. So please join me. If this is your first time, welcome. Again, I'm a practicing attorney from New York, but I do help people from all 50 states and overseas. I handle immigration waivers, family immigration, employment immigration. I help people who are in deportation proceedings, asylum, cancellation or removal, appeals, motions to reopen, you name it. So if you do need to reach me, please call my office 917-885-2261. My assistants will be happy to walk you through the process of booking an appointment with me. And if you do have just a little question that you would like to ask, these weekly live sessions provide for an excellent opportunity for you to do so. But in order to do so, you need to sign up for my YouTube channel and follow me on Facebook. So you do receive these notifications of when I'm going live, and I will be able to help you out a little bit. Please let me know where you're watching from. And of course, prepare your questions. As I stated, I'll be happy to answer them. And now let's start. Of course, the most exciting or non-exciting news of this week is the fact that Republicans and Democrats failed to agree on foreign aid because Republicans predominantly are trying to connect the issue of the foreign aid with border security mostly. We would like to see more of immigration reforms talks, but it mostly their measures proposals relate to the border security and restrictions on asylum system. And that's why Republicans and Democrats cannot agree on anything, because Democrats and Republicans have a very different views as to how the situation at the southern border has to be handled, how the situation with asylum seekers should be handled, and how to handle the situation with a tremendous backlog of asylum cases within the United States. I'm referring to immigration court and USCIS backlog. Wherever you file anything these days with USCIS, expect months and months to pass before you're going to get your result. I would say that the fastest applications to be processed would be citizenship, naturalization applications. But even those applications take 7, 9, 11 plus months to be processed. A typical adjustment of status based on marriage would take you close to a year to be processed. But some applications are tremendously backed up, such as I-601A waiver. When I-601A waiver was first introduced during the Obamacare, it was relatively fast way to solve someone's issue of lack of legal entry if now they have a US citizen spouse usually who can sponsor them. It would take maybe 6 months for that waiver to be considered, but compare now to 24 to 25 months, 2 years you have to wait for that waiver to be resolved. Of course, we always hope for a grant, but we never know if there will be a grant, so I say a decision. So what's happening right now is that, as always, immigration became extremely political issue where both parties are trying to use it as negotiations to get something else, something that not per se relates to the internal immigration, like this foreign aid issue. So Democrats obviously would like to help Ukraine and they are requesting money for that. But Republicans are saying that if you that's what you want to do, then you have to give us a lot of administrative power to regulate situation at the border, to the point that Democrats believe Republicans may return Title 42 and like measures. And by the way, just so you don't have any confusion or misconceptions, right now, immigration environment is not particularly friendly to those of you who either have already orders of removal against you or are in detention because of some criminal charges. ICE is aggressively picking up people after they serve their time in state or federal jails on criminal charges and place them in mandatory detention and deportations. Do not make mistake, even though you may think that right now we have Democrats in power, the removals are still going on. Every week I receive reports are how ICE is deporting people who do not have status in the United States, either single adults or families. So we live in an interesting time. Some policies in immigration obviously became more friendly towards immigrants. Some policies in practice did not really change. And in the middle of all of that, we have to deal with tremendous backlog plus with plans as to how we're going to solve, if it's possible at all, to solve this situation. And if you have any thoughts on how our government can resolve the backlog, please let me know. Share your thoughts in the comments. It would be very interesting to see what you think about the current immigration situation. One more thing I wanted to mention before I will start answering you guys' questions is that if you are already somebody who lives in the United States and you have papers, or maybe you work for the organization that is dealing with au pairs, or you're watching from overseas and you would love to come to the United States and you found that there is this opportunity for young people to be an au pair in the United States, you need to know that um, United States government is proposing drastic changes to the au pair program. I do have a video on my social media channels explaining those changes that are proposed right now. But basically, the au pair program is going to be more or less eliminated because it will stop being appealing to the potential employers, families in the United States due to very rigid, very strict regulations that the government is trying to impose as they relate to the hourly rate that needs to be paid to au pairs and other aspects of au pair involvement, such as written contracts, reporting requirements, prohibition on working nights, and so on and so forth. So just be aware of those changes. You probably do not want to start something that may result in no go for you, right? Because to participate in an au pair program, usually foreigners have to pay hefty fees to the sponsors. Sponsors are this middleman, excuse me, organizations that connect au pairs and employers in the United States. So just know that change potentially is coming and it's going to be a huge change. It may limit your ability to come to the United States. Perhaps you're better off with a traditional F1 visa if you're coming from overseas or a J1 work and travel. Just keep this in mind. And now, if you guys are ready, I'll be happy to answer some of you guys' questions. Do not forget to like and share this show so we're gonna have more people joining us. Hi Duke from Seattle, Washington. Hi Makan. Case moved to 1519 Lisbrook, Virginia to 26 Federal Plaza. Motion to reopen filed 1 year ago. All right. Let me know, please, what is your question? I understand that the motion to reopen was a motion to change venue was filed and the file was transferred to 26 Federal Plaza. What is your question? Let me know, please. Thank you, Psych. Good job. Thank you. Thank you, Wes. Thank you, Amit. Thank you very much, guys, for all of you encouraging kind words It means a lot to me to know that you do appreciate my little live sessions, videos, posts, blogs. I do invest a lot of time, so you're going to have access to this free information and my comments. I do not know everything, but I do know something because I've been practicing for 16, almost 16 years at this point. And I am a member of AILA, American Immigration Lawyers Association, American Bar Association. I do periodically improve my knowledge by buying books. You see, just a little on my shelves, just a little representation of how many books I truly have, and participate in CLE, continuous legal education, which each lawyer is required, and you probably want to update your knowledge because that's important. So let me see. Hi, Luis. Hi, Willie. Hi, Zamkin. You helped to get long-term visa for who came from UK and staying in the United States. Is it possible to get a long-term visa if you're coming from UK? If you're coming on a visa waiver program, it will not be possible. Visa waiver is something that allows you to relatively quickly come to the United States and to stay up to 90 days. But, friends, you will not be able to change that status to anything apart from marriage based cases adjustment of status. Just know that. So, another important thing that you need to know about visa waiver, if this is how you came to the United States, is that unlike traditional visa, it grabs your rights from you for an immigration court hearing. So when you come to the United States and you overstay those 90 days, the government does not have to place you in regular removal proceedings. This is what it is, waiver. You waive your rights for those proceedings. You will be quickly deported, and the only thing that you can file for would be asylum only proceedings. Very important to know that. Hi, yes, sir. Hi, Daily Sports. Did help deported crew members C1D visa? Perhaps your question is about if I can help somebody who was on C1D visa and was deported to come back. Well, surely, but I need to know more about your qualifications. Guys, if you were deported, the first thing that you need to know is that you need to have a basis to come back to the United States. Usually it will be an immigrant visa filed by petition would have to be filed either by a family member, a self petition or employment petition or investment petition. And then we need to see why specifically you were deported and if that ground of deportation or removal would still be a problem for you, choose a point that you require a waiver. Then we're going to see if there is some problem why you may be considered inadmissible, if you can qualify for a waiver. This is the analysis that we have to go through when we decide, attorney decides how to advise you on whether or not you can come back to the United States after deportation. Typically, it would involve reviewing your immigration file because sometimes people don't remember everything or they remember it differently from what's actually in a file. And you do not want to make that mistake. You do not want to invest your money and time into a process just to find out it's not possible for you to come back, all right? Because remember, in my view, each immigration case has not only component of you feeling happy and fulfilled after you get what you're filing for. I also view it as an investment of your time and money, right? You're going to invest a lot of time and money and hopes into the process. And if I can determine from the start that it's going to be useless, I will not be able to charge you money just like that. Hi, Duke. You're wonderful, honestly, have acquired some basic knowledge on immigration issues, and I really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Very appreciate your kind words. Um, Make sure that you stay in touch and join lives. Hi, Luis. 10 years waiting for USCIS to call my wife to defend our case for asylum. Do we have other options? We have TPS approved also. Is the cancellation of deportation an option for us? Cancellation of removal perhaps may be an option for you, but here is an interesting thing. If you already have TPS, the government typically is not going to bother with your removal proceedings because now you are technically not removable. You may want to explore the possibility of adjustment of status based on an employment visa, if it can be an option for you. But for that, you would have to travel on TPS advance parole and come back. I do not know if you are in removal proceedings, if your removal proceedings were administratively closed, for example, but to apply for cancellation of removal, you have to be in removal proceedings, in active removal proceedings, because only immigration judge can grant that status. So what I think you should do is to ask an attorney who was working on your asylum case, if they're still around, whether or not option A, B, C that you have would be a good idea. Why? Because that lawyer knows your file. If that lawyer is not around or you don't trust them, you can consult with a different attorney, provided you're going to share your files. Because sometimes what happens is that a person may qualify for TPS, but they will not qualify for adjustment of status. Okay? So before you're going to start, again, we're talking about investment of time and money. Before you're going to start any process, an employment adjustment of status is very expensive usually and long. You want to know for sure that you have a good chance, not just 50-50 chance. You have a good chance, right? Higher than 50-50. Because 50-50 is not really something that we're looking for. It sufficiently doesn't mean anything, right? So that's where you stand with that. I hope my answer is helpful to you. And let me see. Hi, Navid. I applied for PD in Charlotte about 2 months ago and have not heard back from DHS attorney. What should I do? Do nothing. Any DHS attorney is going to tell you, if you follow up with them, that they're taking up to 90 days and more to review your PD request. Why? Well, because they do have million cases, guys. That's why. So if 90 days pass and you do not hear anything back, then follow up with them. Okay? In my experience, this would be the best practice. Hi, yes, sir. My question, if apply for TPS granted means they will dismiss my case in court. I came through Southern Border, I seek asylum. I do not know, but I think I have strong claims and reasons for didn't go back. I'm not sure, but I think your question relates to what is it that you need to do, right? If you should dismiss your case and lose your chance for asylum, I wouldn't be able to tell you. It depends on what your asylum case is based on. Generally speaking, if it's based on the claims of a particular social group, such asylum cases are always more difficult to win than political asylum cases, unless, of course, it's LGBT plus group. Why? Because different judges may have different views as to whether or not your group is visible in a society, if it's distinct. If. Why? Well, because we had Trump in office, and during the Trump administration, this particular social group cases were very difficult to win, if not impossible to win, due to then acting Attorney General. And what happened is that even though the cases from Trump's time were canceled, overruled, however you want to understand or call it, the thinking stayed and analysis sufficiently stayed. So consult with an experienced attorney. It's a tough thing to say when clients tell me, what are my chances of receiving asylum? On paper, sometimes your chances look fantastic. But if you're somebody who cannot speak, who cannot repeat what you wrote without constantly forgetting important details, you have 10% chance of that asylum being granted because the main witness in asylum case is always you. In 99% of cases, the judge not just want to see strong and well-prepared case, they want to observe you, look at you, and see if you are truthful, if you are credible. Some people who went to some interesting lawyers or paralegals who made up great cases for them don't have any chance of winning cases because their cases are not real. And when the time comes for their testimony, they cannot testify about anything that happened because it never happened to them. So I do not know sometimes, especially if I've never met you, never seen your file, I will not be able to tell you what is the best option for you. Because if you are a good, strong witness, you have a true case, you well prepared your case, you looked up the case law, recent case law, and it supports your theory of asylum case, and you know your judge is a good judge with a good approval rating, then you have a good chance for asylum. Then maybe TPS, you're going to save up for the last possible option. Hi, Cliff. My name is Cliff and I live at Lincoln, Nebraska. Whoa. And I would like to know how long is the process time for green card from, from asylum and the employment authorization card? Cliff, if you won your asylum case, you no longer need an employment authorization. And when you will be filing for adjustment of status based on the asylum that you won, USCIS will not grant you employment authorization. You're not entitled to it because you already can work. You do not need any specific employment authorization once you won your asylum case. All you need to do is to contact Social Security office and update your Social Security card. How long that adjustment of status is going to take, in my experience, is going to take you a little bit over a year currently. I would say 14 to 15 months if everything goes well. Okay. Hi Julio, what would happen to my combo card if my I-45 is administratively closed due to unavailability of visas at the time of filing? Can I still use combo card to travel abroad? The question goes into whether or not your adjustment of status is still pending or not. Administrative closure with immigration court, I would give you definite answer that yes, the case is still pending. It should be the same for USCIS, but in my experience, very often USCIS use administrative closure of their cases as an active case. And then to restart it, you have to wait for the priority date to be current. So I would say that your combo card should be valid, but I also can expect that you will have issues. All right. You can have maybe some other lawyer see what their opinion on the issue is, but I would look at it this. If I were you, I would not be leaving the country at this time. All right. Would not do that. Okay, so let's see. Hi, Daily Sports. Can I come back as a crew member to work on the ship after being deported? Chances are you may, but you may require a waiver to do that. All right? A waiver to do that. The C1D visa is a non-immigrant visa, and as a result, you may qualify for a very generous non-immigrant waiver. So it should be possible, all right? Depending, of course, on the deportation reasons, even though the non-immigrant waiver may waive almost everything, But if you were deported in connection with a criminal charge, government may find that it's not going to be in their interest to grant you that waiver, depending on the charge. So, guys, thank you very much for watching. It was a pleasure. Thank you all who joined today, who participated. Please do not forget to like and share this video. Hopefully, next week we're going to have some good news, maybe about immigration reform. And of course, I will be happy to share the news as soon as I receive good news. But for now, thank you very much. If you do need to consult with me, you know how to find me. My number is 917-885-2261. You also can find free information on various topics of immigration law on my website, www.shaltsova, my last name.com.